My name's Michael Russell. I work at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, and I'm interested in the origin of life. Read the literature. Read proper books on any discovery. You know, it's worth going back to the Crick and Watson paper and reading it and having a really good knowledge of it, and try to think of it their way. I remember Crick saying he was appalled that the poor students on the number 62 bus in Cambridge had to learn about the bases, because they never had to learn about them. If you discover them, then you don't have to learn about them. You know, it is the height of knowledge. So the best way to try to get to that height of knowledge is to try and take the same pathway as the particular discovery entailed. And then the other things I would do is to take spontaneous music making seriously, because it's a very good example of a self-organizing system that automatically hits one's heart and mind when it's happening. So now I'm old-fashioned, and my favorite musician when I was young was somebody called Charlie Parker, and I'm told, and I never saw him unfortunately, although I did see Clint Eastwood's movie called Bird, which was a terrific, the next best thing. And people would say that when Charlie Parker played and he was on form, everybody shut up. They just knew it was happening. And of course he has a whole band behind him, and there's a trumpeter there, perhaps Dizzy Gillespie or Miles Davis or somebody like that, and the drummer. And they knew when it was happening, when everybody was kind of cooperating, kind of feeling the vibe, you know, I guess is the language. And I think to understand that the world works through self-organization and we can feel it ourselves. You know, so this is another point about having visceral roots. And then one of my favorite views on all this is to recognize that, at least to my mind, that the art historians rather dismiss Van Gogh. They say that it didn't go anywhere. You know, actually, if you want somebody, it was Gauguin that went everywhere. If you follow Gauguin, you can watch the rest of modern art. You know, okay, and surrealism all come from perhaps Gauguin. But nevertheless, Van Gogh made that wonderful discovery, to my mind, that the world itself is far from equilibrium, and he could tell everybody, and everybody could listen, just like everybody could listen to Charlie Parker in those days. And that, you know, my favorite picture by Van Gogh is called, of course, Starry Night, and it's in dentist waiting rooms. I think it's even been on chocolate boxes. Why is it that everybody gets it? And yet it's a most extraordinary picture, where if you have a look at that picture, very unlike normal Van Gogh, the church looks like this. There's the steeple, and there's all the houses. They look like little crystals. But the rest, the cypress tree is doing this, the rocks are doing this, and right in the middle of it is M51, the galaxy M51, and he was the first person ever to paint a galaxy. And he put and he took liberties with it, because he put a comet on the back, so you've got a comet's tail, and you've got and the stars are different colors, and as I like to say, well, they are different colors. And there was a most wonderful, I think his name's Boehm, and he was a professor at UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles. And he decided, having looked at this picture, to go to the Griffith Observatory and ask them to wheel back the observatory to look at the night on Van Gogh, and I think it's July the 4th, 1889, but I could get that wrong. And they did that to 4 o'clock in the morning, and he occupied a cell in an asylum he'd been put to, and he looked, and they went to the same, well actually they went to the next door cell. They looked out at 4 o'clock in the morning, and there was the picture. He turned I think he turned the rising sun into the moon or something like that. So he'd taken a few liberties but there was the picture, and there were the stars in the right place, and of course the galaxies made the other galaxy M51, which was discovered as a nebula in, I think, 1831 by somebody called Ross in Ireland, but he'd put that actually right in there in the middle. And to me, you know, this was extraordinary. This fellow just said, right, this is what you've got, and I need my head to tell you. And unfortunately, it's not much fun in here, but it's like being Beethoven. You know, this is the way the world is.